Oh shit.
And we are on the
And
air.
Edmund wants a Mitchell for his.
On the air.
He want Mitchell in his house dressed like the Joker in the Batman movie
Lord.
with the little
Hey,
nursery
Edmund, did you see
outfit
the
on.
Edmund? Did you see the article, the one I posted yesterday?
You wait until now to really want to talk about that subject. No, I didn't
What
see the article you were talking about. What was
about
the
the
article?
payphone?
No, you know what? I saw it and I didn't get a chance to read it.
Did you see my LastPass article that I responded to you?
The LastPass?
Yeah, LastPass got hacked.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I put that in the right in the
Yeah,
chat, but
I responded to the article with another YouTube video. It's one of the top security analysts, and he explains what happens. And basically, what happens is the only thing that got leaked was your name and your phone number and your email. Everything else is I forgot what the hell he says. It's like crypted, like a bazillion times crypted. It's like some
I mean, you can
super
still
high
do a
thing.
lot of damage with that
Yep.
information.
Because all you got to do then is spoof the phone number, and then you do the third-party verification using the phone number to get access to the email.
Yeah, you
Once
can still
if you
do a
get
lot of
access to the
damage.
email, anybody who's using Gmail, it also logs you into Chrome. Once you get logged into Chrome, you got access to all the passwords for every account.
So
We should
I mean,
yeah,
you can't just say only.
no, because you got to watch the video to understand it. Because I'm still lost. It's like super technical. That's why.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna get as soon. I haven't had a chance to get around to it yet, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, it's only like I think 10 or 15-minute video.
So how's everybody doing this evening?
Edmund's
Thirsty.
having too much fun because he's with Metro. So
Oh God!
Oh
See,
shit.
What? Can we not
Keon,
talk about that y'all favorite man's whore? To this
Keon,
evening.
Keon Mitchell over there right now with that blue bergamot grease on Brandon's beard.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
shit.
You know what? I'm gonna give y'all a moment for yourselves for your love interest.
Already,
And
I mean, already. Mitchell's about to cut your Spectrum line, bro.
He cut it if he wants to, but cut his ass off. Then he
uh,
ain't gonna be able to. He gonna be able to twerk in that pink thong no more.
see. Y'all can't even go an evening without talking about that man.
Yo, man.
But
Edmund, remember you were lonely, sir. And you
no,
brought
I
that
wasn't.
man in.
I
You're
was
the one that
not.
I'm
started
so
it.
lonely.
No.
I'm Mr.
Hey, what's going on,
Lonely.
Gene? How y'all doing?
I
How you
have
doing?
nobody for my own.
Oh,
Oh God, you sound terrible. No radio. So
That's intentional, sir.
I got this many people in this lovely Google Meet that I'm in to finally have the war of all wars start.
Oh Lord, here you go.
It's already started before I ever got to this point. But yo, understand, I've been looking at YouTube videos of people like I put in just iPhone and Android, and oh, thank you, man. Hey, thank you, Gene.
Oh, did
So
you say?
I put in like different iPhone. What's special about iPhones? Switching to iPhones. People saying that I switched away from iPhones to go back to Android. I find all those people fake. All of them are fake. Now, I'm determined to have a legit conversation with some of my fellow people that I know, to school me if possible, because understand I'm a new convert. I don't even want to consider myself a convert. Sorry, I'm using an iPhone.
The temporary man of the night.
No radio, that's messed up, man.
You
But
got your clear heels on.
I got me being an Android user. No radio's an Android user. Ashay, I feel like Ashay's on the fence, but he has a Fold 4.
he's more on the Android side.
I
And
only touched an
then
iPhone a couple times.
I have Brandon, who's like iPhone or bust, and EM, who's probably going to be the most level-headed person I'm going to talk to this evening. That's going to help me understand my shortcomings if there's any. So,
Ashay just said I only touched an iPhone a couple times, like it was like he was smoking crack.
Oh shit!
I only tried it a couple times.
You know, like he smoked it in, but he didn't inhale. I didn't inhale though. So I'm seeing if I can bring in Gene. Not Gene. I'm sorry, Gene. I was Greg. So I'm trying to see if I can get Greg to come back. He's supposed to be the most technical of iPhone users that I've come across, and trying to help make heads or tails.
Oh, Greg Apple. I'm gonna start calling him Greg Apple.
Greg Apple.
Wait, you're gonna have Greg Abbott in the podcast?
Oh
no, his wheels won't fit in the room.
Wow. But I'm trying. So
he got 2 flats tonight. He can't make it.
Oh, that's messed up.
Oh shit.
So here's the thing. I have been asked by everybody. Everybody kind of knows that I'm not an Apple user, and this is a new experiment of mine. I have not done this, and I'm going down this journey, and I am not liking what I'm seeing right now. Now, this is not to. What's up?
We got to get you to do what you like and don't like. We can't just get the only what you don't like.
I know. So no. We're starting. We're gonna start with the like first because I think this is gonna be pretty short.
On AT&T, how do you know if you're connected to C-band or DoD? Is there a way to know that?
5G plus.
No, like the difference between like if you're connected to C-band and it tells you in the service menu.
Brandon, I had my phone on freaking AT&T today, and it told me 5G plus, and there is no C-band. Just to let you know.
How do you know the difference between C-band and DoD?
You won't. I mean, you have to like. It's going to be almost impossible for you to know.
On an iPhone,
it's on, especially on an iPhone.
What about Android?
It's going to be. If Android, you will be able to see that you're connected, but understand it depends on the scenario that you're in. It could be in standalone, it can be non-standalone. You could be aggregating with LTE and the DoD spectrum, or the C-band spectrum, or both.
Now is it because over here in Jersey, I see it both combined. So that means you'll see N77 60 megahertz, and that would be combined both C-band and DoD.
Yeah. So more than likely, I mean, they'll probably put them together. That's the whole. That's the goal. There's
no way to
bring them together. Only in band selector, you can select only that one and then leave and turn off the other.
That's what I need to know. Oh yeah, start using band selector.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go in. What is it? *# 2263 #, and turn off the C band, which is N77, and only leave on the DoD spectrum.
What was it? *# 2233 #?
No, 2263.
Oh no, I'm about to hang Ashley over that fence he's talking about.
Uh-oh. So to start the conversation with, what do I like about the iPhone? Build quality, very nice. I like the color that I got, which is the dark purple. The RF on it seems to be pretty good. It's a little weird that the values are not matching up, but that's further down the conversation, down the rabbit hole. But outside of that, that's about all I got for what I like. Anybody? Is there something I should like? Is there something I'm overlooking? Nobody? Where's Brandon?
How is the sound of the actual speakers on the phone?
The sound's pretty good. I put both Apple Music and Google YouTube Music. I put both of them up there, and they sound pretty good. Out of the speaker, the lower speaker near the charging port, so they plays pretty decent. If I was just going to listen to it on from the speaker standpoint, I did that earlier today.
How you liking charging speed?
Charging speed, I think that it charges roughly about the same. I mean, I got a 20-watt charger plugged into it right now, but its hoses charge a lot better than my Android phones do. I can say that. Now, granted, I don't have a lot of apps on there that's pulling data, so that could be one versus the other. I don't have a lot of apps updating or trying to update in the background, but it does hold its charge a lot longer. So, when I have it on, at 100% and then take it off the charger and I come back to it the next day, it goes about 95%.
Are you comparing that to the Fold 4? What?
I'm comparing it to the Fold 4.
You can't compare the Fold 4 and the Fold 3 battery sucks. Yeah, compared to the S22 Ultra.
Well, but you got to remember, I'm comparing it to what I use on a daily basis.
And don't forget, the Fold 4 also has a smaller battery than the S22 Ultra. So it's actually more comparable because its battery is smaller, like the iPhone battery.
So that's
even though the battery,
I'm using both my Fold and the iPhone simultaneously when I'm driving and doing Uber. So I could just witness that the charge and how long it's holding the charge just by when I'm getting ready to use it, when I'm not using it, those type of things. So charging, the battery life on it looks like it's pretty decent. I mean, I'm not pushing it as hard as a lot of people are if they just use it as their everyday, but I can see that the battery life on the iPhone is a lot better than what I get on my Fold.
See, we found some more things.
So,
did you get the insurance?
See, guys, we're trying to be fair, guys. See, we're trying.
Now, is there something that I'm overlooking before we get ready to head into the Lord Jesus side?
Have you tried to transfer a file off of it yet?
Before we head into the Lord Jesus side, is there something I'm overlooking?
What did I miss?
I'm going through the likes and dislikes. I'm starting with the likes first.
What do you like about it besides the display?
Battery life, display,
Mitch's wallpaper.
Hold up, Edmund. Hold up,
I leave
Edmund.
that for you.
You tell me you like the display of the iPhone?
Quality. Yeah, the display is nice.
But their display compared to the S22 Ultras or the Fold 4 is so much better.
Well, this is one thing I'll have to give it, Ashay. The Samsung screens are more capable, but the one thing that makes the iPhone screen stand out is the color temperatures. The color temperatures by default are very good. If you had a Samsung, you have to you got to adjust it to get the good color temperature. The default color temperature is not as good on the Samsung.
That's one thing I liked about that, and I will agree with that because I feel like the colors on the iPhone not on the iPhone, on the Fold 4 are dark.
Yeah, by default they're very dark. You have to adjust to get perfection, but you can. But by default, it's not very good.
My thing is, like, my opinion can be skewed, but I like darker tones, so that's why.
Well, it's not that for me. I give you an example, right? If I take a picture of a rose, right, and I'm looking at that rose in real life, okay, on the iPhone, the display itself will give that color more natural look by default. Now you can, like I said, you can tune the Samsung to give the natural color, but the iPhone display, through how they've tuned it by default, which obviously they don't give you the option to change the tuning, so they just tuned it for you basically. And so they got that right, in my opinion. Now, as far as display capability, yes, the Samsung wins that hands down because of display capability. Obviously, higher resolution on the Samsung devices. If you're taking really high res stuff, you can see a lot more detail on the Samsung, but the color itself, the color representation itself is better by default on the iPhone.
I agree.
That's my argument.
Now,
that's my only argument.
I on YouTube, I did run YouTube and I loaded up one of the 4K videos. The iPhone looked a little bit better than my Android one, but remember, I didn't adjust any settings on my Fold either. So it's basically stock stock settings for both of them, and it look, the iPhone do look a little bit sharper
So
at 4K.
you know how you can get a screen, right? And then you can calibrate that screen if you actually buy the hardware to calibrate the screen. So
Yeah.
for instance, right, if you do any kind of video editing and stuff, you'd know about like Adobe. You literally have to buy a color book, and that color book represents colors exactly. If you ever do like true video editing, you always have to get the color book so you can calibrate your display to what the real color is in the real world. So if that color was a certain pink, and let's just make up a code, say that pink was A0115, right? If you're doing true video editing and picture editing, you actually buy a color book and you calibrate your display so it exactly represents that color book. That's what people do in the professional world, okay? When it comes to the iPhone, I felt like Apple done that by default. They actually calibrated it to the acceptable color reference charts. Samsung didn't. Samsung went with high resolution, and they didn't calibrate the display almost at all. So they left it to you, which is fine too, but just out of the box, the iPhone more represents the color book.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And the same thing with their ProRes displays that you can buy. They've calibrated those to match those color books. So if you're in Adobe and you could literally have that book in front of you and you look at that green on that book, it's exactly the same on that screen when you pull that exact green up. That's what I'm talking about.
No, I agree. I mean, even without changing any settings on the iPhone, I mean, I could tell like out of the box, it look a lot better. Where on Android, you have to go in and futz with the settings to get more vivid or vibrant views in comparison. So when it comes to iOS and out the box experience, I mean, hands down, I feel like iOS and Apple gets that pretty much on point. Now, Brandon, what about you? What else do you think I should? What is there something I might have overlooked, or what do you think?
Camera, bro.
Camera. Okay,
we can go there.
So I turned on the camera. I didn't take any pictures, but I did go through the settings on the camera. It's a little bit more straightforward. It's not like glitz and glamour on the Android side where like you get all these different options. It's kind of like, hey, this is the camera, this is the video, this is that. Where on the Android side is like you almost need a PhD in photography.
I got one complaint.
To try to figure out what's going on with it.
I got one complaint on the iPhone on this one.
Uh-oh. What's yours?
You know how you might have a sheet of paper with text on it?
Yeah.
The iPhone does a really shitty job at that.
Really picking up text?
Yeah, like not picking it up, but it has a habit. Like I literally spent like 20 minutes one day trying to copy an 8x10 paper using the text feature, and it kept not getting all the text. It would like skip half the page. It couldn't pull the whole page in for some reason. It was very, very like weird. And on the Android, I've never had that problem.
So a weird caveat to that, it works really well in the Notes app. So if you're trying to do it from the camera app, if you're trying to scan like a normal document, it'll scan to PDF just fine. But I know what he's talking about. When you're in the native camera app, it handles text very poorly.
Yep. I was trying to scan a certain document. I ain't gonna say what it was, and it was just like on the Android, it's just a lot easier. The iPhone, it kept cutting off the bottom of the page, no matter what the hell I did, no matter how far away I held the camera. It was very bad.
But my overall wholesome opinion after using the S22 Ultra, 13 Pro, and the Pixel 7 Pro, out the box, the iPhone has the easiest, best, like just point and shoot camera for both video and photo. Can you tweak your S22 or your Samsung or your Google to take better pictures? Absolutely. But out the box, iPhone wins hands down.
Like this point, like straight point and shoot. Yes.
And the other thing is
go straight point and shoot.
You can add Google Pixel's camera API to any Android. Just a point. I will point that out.
So basically, you could take the brains and apply it to almost any Android phone coming from
So
Google.
if you like the Pixel camera, you can get the APK for that and run it on any Android. So it uses their AI setup in their camera. So that's why I say the whole Pixel camera argument is great. The Pixel camera is great, but you can put it on any Android if you got software. And if you go look at the sensors that they're using, these manufacturers not using very different sensors across the board. Very, very common.
Well, I mean, on the iPhone, they're still using Sony sensors.
Well, yeah, but like I said, that's across the board almost. All the manufacturers are using various Sony sensors. But the worst thing I saw on the iPhone, the zoom was really bad. I was literally at a sale site one day, and all I wanted to do was take a picture of the cabinets where the ground equipment was, and there's a sticker on it that says the name of the operator. The iPhone kept blurring the text because it would not ignore the fence for anything in this world. When I zoomed in, it kept trying to grab that daggum fence, and I wanted what was on the other side of the fence. Now
you're gonna have to stick the camera module between the fence edges, to be able to get it to focus in.
And not to mention, if I want to zoom in on a tower that's 250 feet, I can't with the iPhone. It won't zoom that far. So it's the Ultra, just zoom for days up to a cell tower, damn near.
So the 100 times zoom, that's all digitally done at that point, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying even digitally is better than nothing. You see what I'm saying?
And the Ultra has a 10x optical to go off of, so it can already zoom in optically. Like, I don't even know what the telephoto is on my 13. I think it's 3x. So it's already got a hardware advantage, and then the software is obviously for the last few years they've gotten it down packed. But my whole point was the out of box experience on the iPhone without tweaking anything or sideloading anything. That's why a lot of people like it, is because they don't have to mess with it.
Right. And I understand the ease of use. Like if you are for the Apple ecosystem, from what I'm understanding, ease of use is pretty much Apple's MO. It's, I want to be able to have my user come in out of the box, turn it on, and bam, it just works, right? Just works should be their mantra across the board. Hey, what's up, Red? It should be the mantra across the board. It just works, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything special to it. You don't have to be like, hey, I don't have to download an APK from somewhere else to get it to work. It just works, right?
All I'm saying is, give me a Mitchell switch, too. Make the just works the default, and then give me a Mitchell switch for the crazy crap. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Give me both. Make the default the simplified version for everybody else, and then give me a special switch to go ape crap. If I want to go mess with every little detail, the ISO and everything like super deep, let me do it. Don't tell me that you know what's best for me. That's my only thing.
Now I asked EM this. I asked EM this. I actually asked EM and Brandon this at the same time, and EM said it real fast. I don't feel like I'm nitpicking. I really don't. I'm starting to understand what's going on now that I have an iPhone. I didn't know it was this extreme. Okay, so this is the bad side. All right, as a Android user, iOS and Apple don't want you to be an Android user. Like, it doesn't want you to be a Google user, because everything is disassociated. And when I say everything is disassociated, so like I've been downloading everything in. I'm getting my apps on, but as coming from a brand new iOS user, it's like, oh, you're gonna have to log into every single app. Good luck. Now, I don't know how it is if you're already an iOS user and you migrate over to another iPhone. I guess you retain everything. But as it's set up right now, I'm having to log into every single thing individually. Why is it not just letting me do it automatically? It has my Google password. It has my information already. If I want to open the app, let me log in right there. It should just go ahead and log in. It's a smartphone. That's how I look at it. It's a smartphone. It's not a dumb device, I don't think. Oh, any ideas What exactly might be in the Pixel patch from the wall? Big feature drop, but many bug fixes too. Just wondering what y'all thoughts. I haven't heard anything too bad about what's going on with the Pixel right now.
No, I think he's asking about if there's going to be a security or a
Any
software update tomorrow.
Okay, because I know that I mean, normally when there's like big problems or any bug fixes or any bugs in general, the tech community starts really going on Google about their phone. You know, Bluetooth problems and overheating issues or whatever. Normally it
Pixel 6
starts standing
issues.
out. I haven't seen anything stand out of late.
No, I was reading about it. Apparently, the December update's supposed to add additional features for the Pixel 7s. Let me pull up the article real quick.
But going back to what you were saying, the iPhone does have a thing where it stores all your passwords, and sometimes if you get a new phone, those apps will already be automatically logged in.
Right. And I mean, the thing is I, as a person who's on Android, if when I fire up an app and I log if I download a new app and I open it, it'll be like, oh, guess what? You're already your primary app is already logged in. There we go.
You just
Right.
keep hitting Google. You just keep clicking Google.
Right.
Well, I
It'll
mean,
say how
now
you want
like
to log
pretty much
in. You
most.
click
I mean,
Google.
some apps already have.
And even Windows does this, by the way. It automatically, if you're signed in on Google in your browser, any app that you've used that associated account with will automatically let you just click Google and log you in.
But
My iPhone does that.
I mean, there's some.
But that's just something that's one of the little. It's okay. So it's kind of like a subtle jab, right? It's not like iOS doesn't want you to use Android. I mean, use Google. It's like they're saying it's not good enough, but we have an alternative.
But I don't know what you're talking about because I download. So I have my Google accounts on my iPhone, and I use LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn is linked to one of my many Google accounts. And when I go and if I delete the LinkedIn app right now and I re-download it, it'll say log in with Google. I click that and it'll give me my list of Google accounts, and I click it and it'll automatically log me in, just like my Samsung does.
Yeah, but he's talking about a brand new person to iPhone. He wants to log into Google once on day one and just get that. It doesn't happen on day one because I had the same issue.
So like if I log in, naturally what I end up doing is I did this with the iPhone when I initially started. I went to my Gmail, put my credentials in, and then I went to another app that was like, because I use my primary Gmail account, and it was re-asking for my credentials again. And then I went to another one, it was re-asking again. And I think eventually it saved some of the information, which I saw that screen, but I never really have that issue. It'll automatically see that, hey, I'm already logged in on my phone. It will automatically just say, hey, look, your primary is this. If you want to switch to another one, feel free.
But Edmund, keep in mind, Google did not make the iOS operating system.
Right, and that's why I'm saying like it's like a second class citizen.
Look at it like this: Google is this steroid powerful search engine to a point where it wants to know everything. It has a Google speaker. It has YouTube TV. It has literally everything. It even has its own ISP in some areas.
Yeah,
which is why it's so important that it be central. But I'll give them this. Have you, Keon? Have you done any like third party stuff yet on the iPhone? Like an actual third party? Like for instance,
third party in general to what?
So I'll give you an example. I find this funny how Apple did this. So say you're logging into another device, right, for the first time in your Google, right? You know how on the Android it will give you the prompt, oh hey, this is your trusted device. Yes, is this you? So Apple does it too, but it does it all through YouTube, the YouTube app.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's weird, but it works. But it is weird that it uses YouTube to do it.
I don't think I've come across that, but that is weird.
Well,
It's weird.
it's basically the like the second step verification or whatever.
Yeah,
Like it'll basically it'll ask you for it'll throw a notification to your iPhone and basically say, do you approve this device or whatever, and then you click on yes, and then basically it's bam, you're logged in.
So it's
but it
using
comes through
YouTube as a
YouTube to do it.
it's using YouTube
Yeah.
to verify.
Because that's the
Yes,
Google
I'm
app.
about to
That's
show
the
you.
main Google app on the phone. But it's weird, but that's how they had to work around to get that thing to work. But here's the downside, right, Keon?
Yeah.
Once you log that freaking iPhone into that Google account, if you ever get rid of that phone, you're gonna have to delete that. You're gonna literally have to log in to your log into your Apple account and delete that phone from your property, or it will not let you do third-party verification or anything else.
Oh God.
That's what I had to do. I had to go and delete that iPhone after I traded it in on my Apple account just so I could log into my new Samsung phone. Wouldn't even let me log in without the iPhone.
Wow.
I'm like, bro, I traded it in. I don't have that phone to verify.
That's crazy. It's like Apple wanted to take over your world.
It did. It
It's
pretty
a
much locked down my
hostile
Google
takeover.
account because I didn't have my iPhone anymore. And I had to go delete the iPhone from the account just to log into Google.
Man.
Because
That's because when you factory reset your Samsung phone or your Android phones, it automatically removes it from your approved device list. But when you just delete
no, it
Google
doesn't.
app,
No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
it
does
doesn't.
not. I got phones all the way back 5-6 years ago, still in my Samsung thing.
Edmund, this is what it looks like.
Still in my Google
Yeah,
account.
yeah,
They're still there.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so this is basically the YouTube app.
And so what happens is when you do it on the iPhone, it becomes the primary. Whereas when you do multiple Android phones, none of them are the primary. You can use any of them to log in later.
That's true.
As long as they're logged in.
Oh, look. You know how
them.
actually, like especially on my Windows PC right now, every single time I have to log into Chrome, it was pulling. It wanted to verify on my Fold 3, where my Fold 4 is my primary. Like I literally walk around with my Fold 4 more, and it was like, hey, go to your Fold 3 and verify who you are.
But
I'm
at
like,
least
yo,
you can hit choose other though. You can hit choose
yeah,
other
I can
and
choose
switch.
other, yeah.
But the iPhone, you can't choose other. It makes you delete it off the account first before it lets you do anything.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm learning something new tonight.
Which is not, like a biggest flaw ever. It's just annoying,
Well, here's the thing.
I had to wait till I got home to get to my desktop so I could log the freak in and delete that damn thing.
Well, here's the thing. What if whatever agreement Apple has with Google, I guess they say, hey, look, you know what? Since you are now using an iPhone, I guess we're just going to make that your primary.
Yeah.
We're just going to give it all the credentials since we're doing everything we can to get on the phone in the first place.
To me, once I factory wipe that iPhone, it should automatically come off there as the primary.
Yeah. I mean, I got phones that I had to go in and deauthorize. I don't even have in my possession anymore.
Oh yeah, I've got like 10 years worth of freaking Androids in my Google account still, but I have all of those phones just about. So
yeah, phones I gave to other people, I had to go and I don't got that phone no more. I don't got that tablet no more. Where'd that come from? What was it? The Pixel 7 tablet? Man, I think I took that off like 6 months ago. And I ain't had that thing for years.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, here's the thing. Like today when I was driving back from Dulles and I was going home, so I put on the music app. Okay, so I have both YouTube Music and iOS on. So I started with iOS first. My car apparently they make all cars to love iPhones because the interface works, everything pops up, no problem, right? I started the YouTube one and it treated the YouTube app like a phone call. Have y'all not seen that?
I've never seen that before. I don't really use YouTube Music. I use Spotify and
It
Apple Music.
literally treated the the YouTube music app like a phone call, especially when I wanted to do a voice search. It kicks the Bluetooth on and made it into a phone call. But
That's some
I did the
Toyota
same.
mess.
But did I turn around and I thought it might have just been a glitch or something? No, when I go back to the iOS one, guess what? The Toyota handles it way different. It shows a microphone on the screen identifying that I'm using voice to make a search. It's like Google is doing a workaround for every single app they have on the phone. Almost like, oh, we don't want you up here, but you're up here anyway, so we can't tell you no, but figure it out yourself.
So what you're saying that the car system prefers CarPlay versus Android.
Well, I don't have an Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but this just my version on my Toyota literally handles requests from the music app separately and differently. On the iOS side, it treats it like an interface, but on the Google side, it treated it like a phone call, like it was like a second class citizen.
Yup.
It's like, oh well, we don't want to give you all the same credentials. You could do it another way, and it's like Google was like, well, we found a way to do it, but it's like real janky, and I think that's what it is. I think that Apple makes it so janky that people like Brandon and Greg and all the other people, it's so janky that y'all don't want to use it.
Yeah,
It's almost like
using non-Apple apps becomes a pain. Is what he's
right.
saying.
It's almost like it purposely make it hard to use, which makes you not want to use it.
Right, like for example, FaceTime on Android is horrible. Like there's no app. They on purposely give you a link and you have to use a web browser.
Right, but here's the thing: why not make an app? Same thing.
They don't want to
like,
make it good. Oh, and
no.
you know, wait. Staying on the subject, I saw a couple of days ago, and I saw you posted on the chat that that some guy found a way that, or there's some guy that made iMessage on Android, and I'm like,
yep,
that's not gonna last.
There's a whole slew of people trying to figure out how to put iOS on Android.
But it's not gonna be the same, and it won't last.
Well, of course, because as soon as Apple catch wind, they're gonna shut it down. They're gonna send that cease and desist letter just as fast as they possibly can. Because how dare you want to experience what we don't want you to experience? Because, like I said, they could easily make an app. Charge money for that. Charge me $10 a month.
Oh God.
See, hey.
Nah, I'm good.
The way that I was hearing everybody, what was it? Greg, you need to get in here, sir. Because as soon as I told him I had an iPhone, he was like, "Yo, how's iMessage?" Huh?
He act like the Illuminati was going to show up on your doorstep and say, "Welcome to the club."
People don't even want to pay for Apple TV Plus.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. If it's supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, why not let other people experience it? BlackBerry Messenger was on Android, even though there was a BlackBerry had its own OS.
And let's not act like Apple software ain't already on other devices.
Hey, they have it. They have their music app on Android,
and their Apple TV app is on other devices.
I actually enjoy using Apple Music on my Android over my iPhone, to be honest.
Oh.
It runs better.
Oh no.
Oh, there's smoke in the building.
Wait a second. Hold on, sir. Please feel free to elaborate.
Navigation's better, I'll tell you that much.
Navigation of the app is significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they organize the even just the play pause menu, the playlist, it looks loaded. on the iPhones. The icons, the menus are all super big and clunky. On any Android phone, it doesn't matter what it is. It's much more slimmed down. It's much more usable because they don't waste a bunch of screen real estate for people who need big buttons. It's like I will sit in my when I'm driving, I will use my Samsung as a streaming device because it just works better. Like no radio knows. He's used it before. It's
I use
cleaner.
it constantly.
Yo, I would have never thought you say that, sir.
And since we're talking about the music app, Keon, you remember what I told you the other day?
Yeah.
What did I tell you about you listening to music on the Android when I come back? Third-party headphones. There is a significant difference in the sound quality on. So, for example, right on the iPhone, if you use non-Apple headphones, it does not give you the same quality as the same headphones do on the Samsung.
Oh wow!
I noticed that day one. I was like, "What? Why does my music sound so much cleaner?" It's like the codec that's being forced on non-Apple earbuds is trash on iPhone. It's significantly different. My Bose sound day and night different on my Android than it did on my iPhone.
Oh wow!
And it's not
the same thing.
You did okay, so it ain't just me.
It's not just you. I have my XM4s.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I wanted to try it with wired versus wireless just to make sure I wasn't going crazy. But those headphones sound significantly better if I hardwire them to my Samsung versus my iPhone. 100%.
Oh, I didn't know that. Man.
There's something weird going on there.
But here's the thing. I think that because they want to favor their own stuff and they don't want anything to shine. They don't want anything to show up and be even on par, not better, just equal to. Like I can't get Brandon to download the Google Meet app and chat and compare the two. Because the first thing he comes off of
I already compare it with you all, and it's not the same.
I said not the app that you're using to talk to us in. No, that's the chat app. I'm talking about the Google Meet app.
Oh shit!
No, it's not.
God, dog.
It's not.
I very rarely got my iPhone to actually do 1080p on when I do the Meet calls directly. It very rarely worked. It works every time on my Android.
I also have issues with handoffs between Wi-Fi and cellular on the Meet app. If I'm on my iPhone, it'll drop the call completely, and I have to join back.
Oh damn!
It sticks me in purgatory.
But
it's like, how dare you not use FaceTime? We're gonna screw your shit up. That's like weird.
But exactly. I'm saying, like, look. Brandon's response to everything shows me that that's what Apple's goal is.
No, we all know that is their goal. Their end goal.
It just looks like that's what the goal actually is. Like you just said, if you use anything that's not an Apple product or for headphones on the phone,
Edmund, I don't know if you know
this. It doesn't sound good.
I don't know if you know this, but Apple likes to treat the Android app, some of the Android apps, like the ugly stepchild.
Of course, I'm realizing that now. But here's the thing: as a person who lives in the Google ecosystem, and you want me to buy an iOS phone, understand it's a turnoff. Everything segmented is a workaround. It barely works. It's janky. It's buggy. Why would I come over to and fully commit to an iOS ecosystem when what I use on a daily basis barely works?
And here's the thing, Brandon, right? It doesn't really hurt Apple if they make other apps work well. It actually makes them look better when you think about it. We know they have the processing power. They could even argue, like if they actually cared, they would even be able to argue, we even make your Google apps run better.
Yeah, that's true.
They could make that argument. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt them to make every app work perfect. It would actually help them.
Me personally, it looks like they go out of their way to make sure it doesn't work. Like they make it where it's hard for, let's say, Google's software engineers to actually make the app work. Like they know that people are going to use the YouTube app, right? If you make the YouTube app 10 times harder to use, then people might actually leave your platform because of YouTube. That could be a thing. So it's like they pick and choose. The Gmail app is kind of like almost not really worth using, but the YouTube app is, or the Google Map app is good, but Waze is bad. It's like they systematically was like,
I'm gonna be
people use
honest
this,
with you,
but
and
not
we've
that.
talked about this the other day. I hate Google Maps. I mean,
Me
Apple
too.
Maps. Apple
Oh, I
Maps.
love Apple Maps.
I hate Apple
Oh,
Maps.
oh God.
Just
Maps.
I haven't look. I can't
I
say yay or
hate
nay
that.
on it
I
yet.
hate that Apple Maps has to rely on Yelp, and then then I have to have Yelp downloaded on my phone.
I can't say yay or nay to it yet. I did just log into my Google Maps for the first time and just kind of briefly scrolled around. But I'm gonna have to log in and set up the Apple Maps also to see what's going on. So I can't
Oh, it's
comment on
already
that yet.
set up.
there's only one
What
thing I hate about Apple Maps is that
and what's that?
the Apple mapping system doesn't have all the street views.
Oh gosh.
And I use that a lot. Like if I'm doing something for work and I need to screen capture like different streets to show something, I can't do it in Apple Maps. It's gonna be missing half the roads on the street view level. So even then, I would use the Google Maps on the iPhone because I can do a lot more with the map itself. Which I know Apple's going to be improving that because I've seen the cars riding around getting the street views, but it's just not there yet.
Well, I mean, Google's been at it for a whole lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they probably got a car in every, like they probably got a handful of cars in every state right now. They had a Google I/O where they put the Google Street View into what was it, cluster? That ball that takes pictures everywhere. They put it on a backpack and sent somebody to the North Pole. like they were like, have you ever wondered what the North Pole looked like? And then they were like, wow, in the middle of the North Pole with that backpack, and you looking around for miles around, it's all white. Like that, like Google took it way further than anybody else has.
And that's why they needed to cut funding for Stadia and half the other unfinished apps that they've had.
Oh, you know what? There's another thing that's on the chopping block besides Stadia. Do you know that assistant feature that that would, like, let's say make reservations for you? It was a Pixel feature. Let's say that you wanted to. It was like it would call and make reservations for you. Let's say you wanted such and such table. Yeah,
Google Duplex.
Yeah, they're ending that too.
See, that is my problem with Google and Android in general. There's been so many false promises of features and support and expandability of the Android operating system, and then it's just like Google decides one day they want to drop a project, and then it's like, GG, sorry.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that comes from their like funding. It's money. It's always going to be money.
You know what killed Duplex?
What was it?
Is that they stuck it only on the Pixels.
Yeah.
And Pixels isn't big enough yet to toe that line. If they let it open for all Android devices, it would have actually lived probably.
Like the calling features on Pixels. Like I wish that would actually go to all Android phones. For me to be able to like screen calls. Oh God, that would be the best feature ever.
They're trying to play the Apple game with the Pixel, but the Pixel isn't getting traction enough to make that feature big. And that's the thing.
It's the only reason I bought a Pixel.
So
for the call screening.
Yep. My grandiose. Other than the fact that I got it for a really good deal, the only reason I got it is that so I can forward all of my phone calls from my other devices directly to that Pixel, and then I can use the call screening. That's the only reason.
Damn. And then you could be like, I don't know that number. Hey, stick the computer on them.
I'm really surprised Samsung hasn't tried to duplicate it yet. But then again, Bixby sucks. And if they did duplicate it, would probably make it a part of Bixby, and that would be horrible.
Yeah, we don't want that.
But Apple has what every other company wants. They have full control over their ecosystem and their customer base. And you see every other company trying to do the same thing. So you can't tell me Apple's not wrong from a business perspective.
But here's the thing, though. They built the Android only open capability, right? So if they were to remove that, it would kill the point of Android. So it's a double-edged sword,
right?
Like
because if you got rid of that openness, then it would just be iOS. That's how I look at the two platforms right now. I look at iOS where Samsung wish they could be at with their operating system for on their side. Hey, we have Bixby. Like there's a voice dictation app on iOS. It's not as good.
Oh yeah, voice dictation is
voice dictation on iOS is not good.
It's not good. I spent a lot of time repeating myself trying to use the voice thing on iPhone.
Like I was trying to do a search today and it was just wouldn't get like I said Lupe Fiasco. It said something else. I was like Lupe Fiasco. I did it on my Android phone. Boom! It pulls up the album art, all of it. Gives me a list on YouTube Music. Did it on the iPhone, and it was like Carter. No, that's not what I wanted. Lupe Fiasco, and it gave me something else. And I'm like, literally, I'm enunciating my words at this point, and then it finally gets it once I start enunciating harder. Like I'm adding emphasis to my words to get it to be clear.
I can take a Google phone to a room with 20 people, and it'll catch every word from all 20 of them.
To be able to to be able to distinguish between multiple different people, that's hard to do on a good day.
But I think from your very short experience with the iPhone, you haven't had time to like really sink in and experience some of the stuff that like me or Brandon or anybody else who's been a long time iPhone user is used to. You're not used to everyone in your immediate family having iPhones. You're not used to everyone in your extended family having iPhones. You're not used to.
It's like changing religions. If you get an iPhone, you got to get everybody to get one.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing. I think that it's just happened over time where it goes back to the green bubble versus blue bubble. Because, like, as I was doing a search for just my own phone, it literally puts my name on my iOS. It puts the name of my fold and my phone green. It's like it's slowly trying to twist that knife in to show you the two different worlds that you're part of. Why do you gotta put my name in green? Like it's almost to the place where it's like, hey, we need to remind you that blue is good. Remember, blue is good.
No, I don't want to exaggerate. When you have your entire family, all of my cousins, all of my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, my parents, my siblings, when you all have iPhones and you're that one person that doesn't have an Android phone from a communication perspective, you're boxed out. You're boxed out, man. Literally.
Well, you know what's hilarious? I'll tell you what's hilarious, right? So, like, both of my parents have iPhones, right? But guess what? They don't even use the apps that everybody loves on iPhone. My freaking mom freaking calls me on freaking Facebook Messenger, the worst damn thing in history.
Oh, geez.
And my sister-in-law does it too.
Oh gosh.
She's like, good God, don't do that. And my sister-in-law, she has both. She has Android and an iPhone, but she still insists. It's like, bro, there's better apps to do this. And I found that the iPhone people continuously use the worst app to do it, which makes the experience even worse.
I don't know how long it's going to take before you can ubiquitously use what you really want. But I can tell you this much: like I called my wife and I wanted to see if I can initiate a FaceTime call. Like it's supposed to be able to send a link. I wanted to see what's going to just do it automatically. No, it automatically pops up. That phone number is not capable of FaceTime, right? But if I tried to do the same thing on Android, it would try to. It was like, hey, look, we're gonna send that person a link in the App Store to download Google Meet or at the time Google Duo, so you can so you can initiate this call. So Google goes out of its way to try to get the app to work, where iOS is like, yeah, we don't care. It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for that. We're not gonna try. And I just don't understand why it doesn't, like, it's almost like they don't want FaceTime to actually exist outside of that ecosystem.
They don't. They don't care.
But they treat
Yeah.
the Mac, but they treat Mac totally different.
Yep.
Mac is still, my thing is, Mac is still wide open.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I just don't see somebody who's, the more and more I feel like this. I feel like the more and more a person becomes more of a Google user, we're talking about like Google app user, they're gonna start migrating away from iOS. I think that a lot of people are pressured into being on iOS, but I don't think they really want to be on it.
I mean, I'm a prime example. If I didn't have to be on iOS, I wouldn't be. I'm only there for the Apple specific features. That's
Yeah,
it.
but the two features that you talk about is iMessage and FaceTime.
Yeah, when every other person in my immediate circle has iPhones,
No.
what am I gonna do? Sit here and argue with everyone and tell them, no, we should use this. We should use Signal. We should use Telegram. We should use Google Meet. They're gonna be like, what the are you talking about? Why?
But
iMessage
here's
works
the
just
thing.
fine.
But here's the thing. Google Meet works just as well. I mean, here's the thing. It requires
integrates.
somebody. It requires somebody like Brandon to finally decide to want to use it. But I think that if there's a lot more people starting to use it more, because here's the problem. Google, for all of the infancy, all the things that they're able to do, they're just now starting to consolidate themselves down. RCS is now becoming the de facto standard across the world.
Yeah, it's default on the Samsungs already. I'm pretty sure
Google,
on OnePlus it's already default now at the gate.
Google Meet is becoming the de facto standard. There's going to be a critical point where iOS users cannot deny Google Meet anymore. It benefited from, Google having 15 different messenger apps, right? Because then iMessage became the global standard. But now that RCS has gained a lot more traction and footing, people are going to start noticing that iOS is hard to deal with.
Well, that's just like this, right? When the pandemic happened, did the world turn to iPhone for working from? Did they turn to that for video chatting from home? They didn't.
No, they went to
They
Zoom.
turned. They went to freaking Zoom, and they went to God, what's the other one?
Teams.
WebEx. Nobody
Yeah.
defaulted to the iOS ecosystem.
Well, that's partially to do with the fact that FaceTime is never intended to be a full-blown enterprise solution. It just so happened that Zoom also appealed to like your average consumer for an ease of use thing. And you
Well, the
could do
main thing was it works on everything.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
but that's the thing, is it's going to get to a place like Zoom is not going to get there, because understand, Zoom's only claim to fame was that they came up right when the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I think that they garnered so much traction that they just became like, oh man, we got to have it, right? But Google has decided, they had two different apps. They killed Duo to make Google Meet what it is and what they're trying to turn it into now is the de facto standard across the board.
But they do need to fix the whole Google Meet side. They need to give the same quality to Google Meet as they give to direct calls in Google Meet.
Right. I agree.
The direct,
it's not there yet.
You make a direct call in Google Meet, it is perfect.
Yep.
And then Meet itself, and like if you do a room, I mean it works perfect, but the quality is trash. I'm like, shoot, why can't we get 1080p up in here?
Right.
It's like they got to fix that.
Like, here you go. What is this? Let me pull this up.
Yeah, I got to call
want-
Keon directly if I want perfect quality. I can't just start a meet and have perfect quality. They got to fix that part.
See,
Now
I
you
think-
can do multiples in a direct call too, though. Like if I can call my wife, my mother-in-law, and all my kids directly in a group, but not through the rooms like we start now. But just if I do their contacts directly, I can have them all in the same room.
See, here
It's
you go.
perfect.
So Google Messages starts testing end-to-end encryption for RCS group text. See, they're starting to pull from all these messaging apps and adding these features to their own. All these disparate features, like WhatsApp and whatever your favorite texting of choice, they're starting to pull features from them and realizing like people want a central spot. They really do. It
And
would
I'll
be
tell you
nice
what's
to have a central spot.
I always go back to the Mac ecosystem. In the Mac ecosystem, they leaned heavily on Microsoft for the majority of the software in Mac OS. A lot of people don't know that, but they leaned on Microsoft heavy when Mac actually began, and all the way up until I'm gonna say all the way up until like 2014. Half the software you use that was Apple software was actually made by Microsoft.
Mm.
A lot of people don't know that though. So all you would be like, oh, well, Windows is trash. Well, even Apple had to go to Windows to get all their software made. They made the OS, and then everything else they got Microsoft to make it.
Now that I didn't know.
Yeah, if you ever been a Mac user, you'd have saw that. Like obviously all the Microsoft Office stuff was on Mac immediately. Even the original Mac, when they first went to using GUI, Microsoft wrote all that code, which is hilarious when you think about it, because everybody deems Microsoft as like a terrible software maker, but hell, Apple didn't think so.
That's funny. So
that's how Microsoft got
came up
started.
with the GUI,
Yeah,
and the interface, and that set the world ablaze.
yeah. See, what it was is Apple contracted Microsoft to make all that early stuff, and then Microsoft was like, "Why are we doing this for them? We can do it for ourselves." And that's how Windows came to existence. So a lot of the stuff you actually love about Mac OS was written by Microsoft, not Apple engineers, not Apple software developers, and that was all the way up until like 2014.
See, now here's my crux of all of this. We shouldn't be relying on Google to implement a standard. We shouldn't be relying to Apple to implement a standard. There needs to be a standard that then any third-party messaging service, no matter what it is, can take advantage of. Because overseas in Europe, like when I visited Europe over the summer, nobody uses SMS. Nobody uses iMessage. They use WhatsApp. They use Telegram, because we care so much for some godforsaken reason. In the United States, we care so much about our phone numbers. It's like people are like attached to it and gripped to it. Over there, they don't care. All they want the phone number is simply used as a like two-factor authentication method almost to verify your identity.
What you described is literally how I live. I don't even make regular phone calls.
I barely call anybody also, but here's the problem. Overseas, they're willing to get rid of and adopt different technologies faster, where here in America, we're more along the lines of whoever's the biggest is the one that's going to be able to set the standard. So iOS would love to make iMessage the standard, because everything will filter through them. They'll get all the information. Look at Facebook. Facebook came up with Facebook or their version of Messenger, hoping that they can get more people to use it, and then they try to make it where it was they try to get you to do the default on Android.
Yep.
So
they want you to default it for your text and everything. But
they
the app
wanted
is
to be the
trash.
de facto everything on everybody's phone. But the problem is you're gonna have to have somebody that's gonna stand up for one side versus the other, right? iOS stopped at the water's edge and basically saying, "Hey, look, why don't you just basically Tim Cook said these words, just buy iPhone."
And the thing
Just
is,
buy
it's crazy.
iPhone.
We're not even asking for Apple to get rid of iMessage. We're saying get rid of SMS. That's it.
Yes.
That's all we're asking for. That's it. It's literally it.
I 100% agree with you.
You can still keep all your bubbles and your special features, certain features you want to keep a special, that's fine. But just adopt RCS, so at least if I send you a photo, it's a full quality image. Like
That's
just
true.
the most basic stuff. That's
Oh,
all we're asking.
I agree with you, and I've been advocating for Apple to support RCS for the last 5 years. Ever
But
since,
see, here's the thing.
but even then, you still have mobile carriers that won't support RCS.
Well, no, the carriers are for it. The
The
carriers are
carriers
actually
are for it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been multiple press
problem-
releases about that. They
here's
don't
the
want to
thing.
run SMS because that's more equipment they got to operate.
Hey, EM, here's the problem, right? What is it going to take to embarrass Apple? Because here's the thing, they did everything. They got rid of all these different other technologies, but you're going to keep SMS around. You see what I'm saying?
Apple is willing to embarrass themselves. They don't care. And they
Hey.
are willing to die on whatever hill that they're on. I mean, look at the new iPad. The new iPad has the same design as the iPad Air. It has very capable hardware to support the second gen Apple Pencil, you know, the one with the magnet that sticks to the side.
Yeah.
But they chose not to support it because then people wouldn't buy their more expensive iPad. And then you have to look real stupid to get your Apple Pencil out, put an adapter on it, and then still plug it into the iPad. It's a horrible design, but they don't care. They don't care.
They don't care because guess what? People buy it. Understand?
Exactly.
It's the same problem when it comes to corporations. They do it because somebody's going to do it. Like if there are people that wasn't doing it, then they wouldn't support it. Like they got rid of the touch bar on the MacBook Pro because everybody hated that thing. They were like, "Oh no, I wanted to touch the screen. I don't want to touch this bar." We're gonna quietly kill that thing, and nobody will ever talk about it again. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I mean, Apple's is going as far as to try and avoid getting USB-C on the iPhones. So by utilizing wireless charging, like they do not care.
But
And the only reason that conversation started is because of government regulation, not by the US, but by the EU, obviously. But the only thing that can force their hand is government. So if RCS is gonna become a new standard, it's got to be coming from government. That's the only entity I think that can convince Apple to finally support it.
I mean, no, I agree because of the thing over in the EU, they force them to use USB-C, and now like Apple is very reluctant to kind of want to do it. I think that this is the next thing that's on the chopping block for them. They're gonna say, "Hey, look, RCS is global. Use it. We're gonna sunset SMS, and you're gonna use RCS."
Yeah, I'll tell you that.
And that's the only way.
What's hilarious, man, I would plug my iPhone into a computer and I'd pull a picture off. And like, I haven't seen a picture have a load bar in a very long time.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I was just like, there's a load bar? I was like, wait a minute, USB 2.0. I was like, wow. Like I could move like 50 pictures off the Android and would barely get a bar. And it was like one picture. It's fucking loading. Whoa. I said,
Here's the
people make
thing.
4K movies off of this thing onto a computer. Do you know how long they're sitting there?
Wow. You know what? I never thought about that because so when I was doing the setup process for the iPhone, right? I used my Fold 3 as the switching point, right? So but it does it wirelessly, not wired.
Bad idea.
Which is faster than the damn cable would have been.
Yes, but here's the thing: on Android, if I want to go from one phone to the next, I have the option of either doing it wireless or wired, and I always opt to do it wired because it's faster. I actually will plug both phones in, and it will be like, it's done, and have a nice day, move on. But on the iOS, it took even though it did it wirelessly, it took about 20 minutes. And then
it used to take multiple hours to transfer stuff from Android to iOS. If you're doing a fresh setup, someone who's switching from an Android phone to an iPhone, it used to take multiple hours just to do simple stuff, photos, SMS, or your message threads, and your accounts. Like Apple makes it so difficult to start in their ecosystem. They also make it so very difficult to leave.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Like I said earlier, I had to wait till I got home to get that damn thing off my account. Because my only other option was to use my Mac desktop, which it ain't even plugged in, to verify myself, just to log in on my stuff.
Hey, look, here's the thing. With people having choices, people are starting to see the Samsung side of like these folds now, because my conversations in my car are going differently. Instead of I'm hearing people like, oh, so what do you think about it? To, hey, my father just picked that phone up. He loves it, and people are starting to notice. So Apple is actually needs to have to try to make it harder to leave their system because people are starting to pay attention to what's going on the Android side.
And I tell you, it's funny to me, right? Like when you talk to like hardcore Apple users, they literally believe everybody has an iPhone. When the market share tells you they don't, even just the US market share tells you they don't. So when you actually go out in the world, like when I go out in the world now, I think I've been brainwashed a little myself. Because I really believe, like I've really started to believe everybody's got an iPhone. But then I'm like out in the world and I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, people do really still got Androids out here. And they really do.
Yeah.
Like they really do. What are these people talking about? Like everybody doesn't have an iPhone.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I bet if you talk to anybody who works in like the cell phone industry, they'll probably tell you that the number of activations they have on iOS versus Android is probably somewhere between 60-40.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the high end Androids either. It's going to be the A32 or the A45.
Most people are buying high end stuff now.
But I mean, I've seen people with the low end stuff too.
All I'm saying is this: who do you think does more activations in a day, the T-Mobile store or the Metro PCS store?
That Metro store for sure.
Metro.
So what phone are they gonna probably be getting at a Metro store? It ain't the high end.
It's gonna be your A50s.
Sneed says my Galaxy is a buggy mess. I need to root my Pixel 7. Hey,
Pixel gang, do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Pixel gang.
But my brother-in-law hates his Pixel 6. You know.
Oh,
dude, I'm telling you, the Pixel 7 has had the best operating system experience I've ever had on a smartphone. Hands down.
I believe you. I believe you. It's just that they've spent so many years being mediocre that now they're getting good. It's like, okay, maybe by the time we get to Pixel 9, they'll start getting traction. Because I want Pixel to get that traction.
But you know what? But here's the thing. Look at where Google decided to target the market now. They're not going after the high end no more. They're going after the mid, which
they're creeping into the high end. They started off in the mid. They're creeping into the high end slowly. Yeah. Because I almost got a Pixel. I almost got a Pixel instead of this Ultra. But I feel like Google was too happy to give that phone away.
Well, that's been the problem that I noticed in the industry, though. Samsung was always willing to offer you a deal. You always get a discount. You always got a promo, a whatever. The iPhones, same deal. You always got something. It might not have been a lot, but even back a couple years ago, you always got something. Google, it's you buy it or you leave. But now they're starting to realize that, okay, well, if we want our phones to actually hit people's pockets, we got to start subsidizing them a little bit or whatever. But I mean, there's a good few years, man. When I was working in wireless retail, I watched people with Pixel 3s, Pixel 4s. Once those phones were fine, the 4s got kind of rocky. Pixel 5 comes out.
The last Pixel I had was the 4 XL. I love that phone. That thing was my workhorse, man. I did everything with that phone. But
see, and then the Pixel 5 came out, and it was a mid-range.
Didn't even touch it. Didn't even want it.
It was a great phone, but it was a mid-ranger. And then
they should have never went mid-range. They should have never went mid-range. Sadly, they should have went hard at Apple and Samsung's throat from the gate, because they've got that predetermined what's the word that what's the proper word to use? Like that, they've got that mid-range smell on them.
Yeah,
You got that mid range stink. It's stinky.
Yeah, and it's
They
lingering.
put that mid.
And
But here's the
now they
thing.
got to change that. They got to change that image because they kept putting those mediocre processors in the device.
But here's the thing that going towards their tensor, quote unquote tensor chip. I think that they see that there's a benefit for designing their own processor like Apple does, but you
Yeah.
need to really start off low and work your way up, right? And I think that's why we end up getting that refresh on the 6, and now with the 7 is it's like, okay, we're not going to really compete on performance. We're gonna make this phone the best thing we can possibly make at a lower price, and then we can just go up from there.
I felt like they did the same thing OnePlus did that screwed OnePlus over. They started off in that mid-range price range, and then tomorrow they want to be premium. You can't do that.
Well, no, and for years the Pixel all the way up, it started with the Nexus phones, and Sneed talks about this all the time.
Dude, the Nexus phones were great.
They were amazing, and they
They were.
always undercut the flagships.
Exactly.
And that's what people loved about them. And then with the Pixel 3, it was getting a little pricey. Pixel 4, it was like, okay, well, this is the same price as the S10, and the S10's a much better phone. And then it was, and then they fell flat, straight off face of the earth.
Exactly.
But they kept the A phones. The A series phones have always been phenomenal. And I will stand on that hill, and I will argue against anyone who says otherwise. The 4A, the 5A, even though it wasn't super popular, and the 6A now are amazing phones for what they cost.
See, my main thing is this, right? The one thing Samsung got right, as far as like marketing in the beginning of the game, is they always led with the S line. They started with the S line. They didn't start with the cheap line and then try to come to premium. They started with premium and then gave you the cheaper option. They didn't, and that's a part, like I said, your identity as a company comes from that. If you start off as the budget phone as your identity, when you try to leave that world, it's very hard. It's very hard.
Mm.
And that's what OnePlus problem is. People don't want to pay premium prices for OnePlus devices. They just don't. That's why they're not selling.
And Motorola's got the same problem. That new Edge Plus is amazing. It's an amazing phone, but it's $1,000. Why would I spend $1,000 on a Motorola phone when I can get a Samsung?
There you go.
Yeah,
they created that image for themselves, and that's what's shooting them in the butt. That's like if a Honda tried to get Mercedes money tomorrow.
Oh no!
You see, you can't.
No.
It's like, no, you got to build to that level, or just start off with we're premium. So look what Apple did, right? Apple went all premium, and then years into building their ecosystem, they go, hey, here's the SE line.
That's true.
And it works.
I mean, because then they turn around and people go, "Oh, I can get the Maybach lookalike car from like I can get the Maybach lookalike car now. It look like it's obtainable. I can rent it for a day."
And they still gave you flagship chips in the SE line.
Well, see, that's where Apple was smart. Is that they make a clear line in the sand between budget, mid-range, and premium. But with every other company, especially Google, that line bleeds over so much. I mean, the biggest conversation that I hear about the Pixel lineup is why would I get the Pro when it's $300 more expensive, and the 7 has all the same stuff?
Bam.
Yeah, I mean, but it's about the size. They try to do the size difference game also.
There we go.
But it's not that much difference. The phones are almost identical.
Yeah,
we got in for the win.
Yeah.
But,
hey,
statement of the night.
Samsung has the same issue though. You look at Samsung has the opposite problem. They have so many phones that are so incremental in price that your average person is not going to care about the difference in feature set on those phones.
Yeah, you know what?
But the S line isn't suffering because of it, though. The S line's still not suffering.
But guess what? Do you know what is the reason why that is? It's not Samsung. It's Snapdragon. Snapdragon puts out all these different processors across their whole line of products, Samsung is like, yo, if you're gonna put out a cheap processor, I guess we're gonna put out a cheap phone for it.
Yeah.
And understand, like, this is the reason. That's the difference between what happens on iOS and on Apple. They can support their iPhone 8 for a long time, or 7 or 6 or whatever the last one that is available. They can still support that one today, where Samsung will be like, yo, it didn't sell well. Guess what? We're not going to support that no more. The iOS is still getting updates. Where do you really think that A32 is going to get updates after a year and a half?
Well, actually, you'd be surprised. Have you looked at the update list?
I have not. I
thought about this yesterday, I think, with Greg. The update list for Samsung for the newest One UI 5 is like 40 phones in that thing.
Dang.
But I think you just stepped on your own toes with this whole Android versus iOS argument, Keon. And that's my biggest thumbs up to Apple is their long-term support.
Hey, look, I tilt my hat to Apple about that. Is they don't have to do multiple different types of phones. Their older phones become what those budget phones become for everybody else.
But
yeah, that makes
literally
for the
becomes the
average
budget
person,
phones.
that makes it so much easier.
Yeah,
but let's not also act like Apple gives all the phones all the features either, though. Even if they get the update, they still don't get all the features.
that's
Oh
true.
no, 100%. I agree.
There you go.
I mean, they'll start shaving stuff off. Look,
Yeah.
do you think the always on display is going to filter down?
It's my next thing. Why isn't the always on display on every new device? On every new device. Matter of fact, why isn't it on every AMOLED device? Because the OLED is the only requirement for that to work. Why isn't every OLED iPhone getting it? It's not a hardware issue.
Couldn't tell you. I mean, the new iPhone still has a 60 hertz display, so
I'm just saying, if they don't give it to, if the only requirement for always on display is an OLED screen,
I mean,
that means every iPhone since the 12 should be getting always on display, and instead they only put it on the 14. Was it Pro and up, or is it the Max only? Which one? I can't remember.
It's probably the Pro and the Pro Max.
But I think that has to do with the.
I don't remember it being.
It's not a limitation of hardware.
I think it is a limitation of hardware though, because the cheaper iPhones don't have an LTPO OLED.
You don't need an LTPO to do always on display. Samsung has done always on since the damn 6, the S6.
Yeah, they have.
It's not an LTPO thing.
But from a battery life perspective, that's why they limit it.
Yeah, but even on the Pro Max, it's still shit with the battery life. That's what everybody's complaining about.
I mean, my Samsung shit with always on display battery life.
I don't have that problem.
But that's wait.
I don't have that problem.
But here's the thing. That's a different implementation. Remember, the always on display for Android is different than the always on display
it's
for
very
iOS.
Different. iOS did it in a way that would burn battery. They did it where they're showing like full color across the screen.
Oh,
yeah, and that's cool and all, but it's clearly like the whole point of always on display is you turn off most of the pixels.
Yes.
They're not doing that.
Like on my Android phone. So like on my Android phones, hey, I can look down and see that I have a text message and maybe a Google chat message or whatever icons are there. I don't have to turn the whole phone on to see that. I can see the time, the date, and what messages do I have without even opening the phone. But the screen I had to turn that always on screen off because it's bright. Even on the lowest setting, it's bright.
No, that was the first feature my girlfriend saw on her 14 Pro after I set it up, and she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the always on display." She's like, "Turn it off. I don't want it."
Yeah, they need to bring it down to just enough information. We don't need full color images because I mean, at least what I've seen is full color images, damn near.
Yeah, that look.
Don't do that.
On one.
Just give me the time and give me a few icons and my battery percentage. Don't give me all this extra stuff. That's more battery being burned while it's sitting.
Like for me, I mean, I'm driving it, especially I drive at night. So any screen that's lit up distracts me. And I had to turn off that always on display on my iPhone because it would literally just distract me while I'm driving.
Oh, and I gotta ask because I got rid of my iPhone. No, obviously, and actually I didn't have always on anyway. But the thing is, so on the iPhone, is the always on display just waiting for you to look at it, touch it, or is it just literally always on?
Always on.
See, the thing is, on Samsung, you have the ability for when it sees you look, it can turn it on.
No,
That's the thing.
it does the attention aware. So like if you have that feature turned on with FaceTime and you like, let's say you have it on the table and it's within the FaceTime view, if you look at it, it'll light up the screen.
Yeah, that's what it should be doing. But
Well, I have not found that setting for it yet, but understand it was lit up. I mean, you could tell it dimmed. It would dim it, but it kept all those pixels on. Especially, I don't go in and change my backgrounds on my stuff. So whatever the background is, that's what it is, and it literally shows that same background almost as bright, if not a little bit less bright,
uh,
and it's annoying.
I love my always on display. I've been on it for a very long time, and I've never been like, oh, my battery life is trash because of it. I've never had that issue. So, I mean,
but like I said, I got my opinions on it.
But I'm gonna tell you what your opinion is shaped by, right? We already know that the Androids are not going to get the battery life of the iPhone, right? So if your perception is the always on display is the reason, you'd be wrong. It's just worse battery life in general. It ain't the always on display causing that. It doesn't use a lot of power to do that whatsoever. It doesn't use much more than a damn watch does to just sit there. If you go to get a cheap Michael Kors smartwatch, it doesn't use much power at all. It might use 50 milliamps an hour max.
Do you know
got a
what's funny?
5,000 milliamp hour battery. Think about how many hours it always on display can just sit there.
No, radio. You know what's funny though? On my Galaxy Watch, they don't implement the same always on feature on my watch that you do on the phone.
Have any of you guys ever used the app called Ampere?
Yes.
On Android?
I actually, you showed me that one.
It actually shows you how much battery you're using in different things. So that's why I say when you go to always on display, you're probably barely using 50 milliamps per hour.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's something else killing your battery. It ain't the always on display. It's the battery.
Now here's the thing. So social media apps drain more, especially you got Facebook on your phone. And what a lot of people don't realize, what Facebook loves to do is always scream about where it's at. It's trying to figure out where it's at all the time.
Yep.
All the time. Which that means that pinging your GPS repeatedly drains your battery. Instagram does the same exact thing. If you go in there and turn those features off, you'll get better battery life.
But you talking to the mentors on Instagram?
Oh God, I don't have Instagram, sir.
So that's the reason I don't have social media installed on either my Pixel or my Samsung for that reason though.
I starve the Facebook app. I don't even have it where it lets me know that I have a message. If I don't feel like looking at it, I don't want to be told there's something there. I'll eventually come back and look at the message later.
Oh, I got an interesting article here. So it talks about all the way back to the S7, right? It said that the S7 used 0.59% per hour of battery. 0.5% an hour is what it used all the way back on the S7. Now, mind you, the S7 had a way smaller battery. What was it? 3,200 milliamps? 2,900?
Yeah. I mean, I don't deny that it's probably my usage patterns that aren't adapted to Android phones fully, but I still think, I don't know, there's enough with the iPhone that it just makes it a little bit more convenient.
Like I said, the iPhone has better battery life in general. One feature ain't gonna change that. That's what my whole argument was. One feature ain't gonna change that significantly. The only reason why the always on display is killing the apples is how they implemented it.
Yeah,
They
turning
went
all the pixels
they
on
went
is
too
killing
fancy
it.
with it. Basically, they tried to go too far.
I
They
feel
were like,
like
well,
they'll do better on it next year.
well, all they got to do is just simplify it, and that's it.
Actually, I think now this is my conspiracy theory on it. I think that it's a patent thing. It just doesn't make any sense why you would turn all the pixels on versus only a handful of them to give you the exact information that you need. But Samsung only gives you the time. Everything else is black. You only
Just
see the
remember,
time, the date, and whatever.
the
Versus
whole
iOS
point.
went,
The whole point of always on display was to save battery. Is the point?
yes.
So you didn't have to turn the phone on to do stuff. That was
I
literally the
think
point.
it's a patent. I think it's literally a patent issue.
I think it's a design issue. They do a similar always on display setup with the Apple Watches, and that Apple Watch always on display just destroys your battery life. So I've had it turned off on my Series 6 for the last 2 years.
Mm.
So I think it's a design choice. To be
Don't
honest.
even get me talking about watches.
Oh, because all the Android watches suck.
Hey, when I married my wife, I bought her an Apple Watch. The battery life sucked on it too. It sucked so much that she rather had a Fitbit.
Mm. But here's the thing: if you ever had a Fitbit, the screen don't stay on. There ain't no
She
always
rather-
on display on a Fitbit.
She rather have a Fitbit. She was like technology. No, I want battery life. That was her whole argument. I don't want to have to remember to charge this thing every day.
Well, no, and I don't think any company has really solved that issue
No.
aside from the Apple Watch Ultra, and maybe those watches made by Garmin. But in general, the smartwatch experience with iPhones significantly better than any Android smartwatch to date. And they've had that market share captive for a very long time.
And my thing is with the watches is like they're so busy trying to worry about the size. I'm like, I'm a nerd, okay? I don't need it to be that sleek. If you can fit more battery in it, give me more battery. I'm a nerd. I'm not trying to be the sexiest man on the runway. Make it a little bit thick and wide. I'm down.
So,
you know what I'm
let
saying?
me ask this question. I don't have an Apple Watch, but what's the battery life on the Apple Watch?
On the LTE or 5G version, not the Wi-Fi one.
Well, they only go according to the Wi-Fi one, because that's the one I have.
I don't have a cellular watch because I don't need
it. Well, it's significantly different in battery life, though. That's the thing.
It is. I won't deny that.
So for me, the whole point of the watch, with the type of work I do, the whole point with the watch is I can leave my phone in the truck, which means I need a cellular version. Which means I'm gonna have crappy battery life. And
which means that you'll be charging it more often.
The same way people feel about electric cars in range, that's how I feel about watches in range.
No, not the electric cars.
I think that there's a difference between them two.
It ain't for me.
Look. Walking around with a dead device on your wrist is different than you walking to the nearest grocery store hoping that somebody can give you a toast.
I get that part, Keon, but what I'm saying is, for me to justify that device, for me, like for example, when I had my Samsung watch, I could run Spotify on it. I would just pair my Bluetooth headphones directly to the watch, and I'd be crawling under houses. I'm going up on the ladder. I'm doing all this stuff, and I can run it all from the watch because it's got the LTE connection.
Right.
But if I actually use what I like on the watch, it kills my battery, which defeats the purpose. So if you guys remember the original renders when everybody was talking up doing the whole smartwatch thing, it was a lot larger device with a bigger screen, bigger surface area, room for battery.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I think Apple's come back around to that with the Apple Watch Ultra.
It's bigger.
Yeah, well, they did go a little bit bigger on it.
There you go.
And then on top of that, you can go diving with it. They're marketing it as the always go everywhere type watch.
Yeah, and the overall feedback from that watch in particular is that it solves a lot of the pain points that people have had with the Apple Watch for years.
Yep.
But
Ding, ding, ding.
I stand
Samsung, if you're
behind
listening.
I stand behind my point though. They're still better than everybody else in that marketplace.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I
here's the
agree.
thing: that marketplace is getting crowded, and they're starting to lose ground. I read an article a couple weeks ago saying that Samsung is eating into it.
Oh, they are now
Samsung
that they're
is
running
eating into
Google.
it. Which nobody wanted that Tizen stuff, but then all of a sudden they switched over to Google, and people started coming towards it.
And that's the only way that they will break into that marketplace though, because Tizen OS is garbage. It had no
Yeah,
support
hey.
for anything.
Look, I stayed away from it. Once I heard that they were going to finally go with the Wear OS, then I was like, okay, I might have to give this a different look. But yeah, it's been a rocky road at best for Wear OS right now. I had 2 Fossil watches, and they were okay, but like I said, the charging was a problem.
I mean, to be quite fair, charging's a problem with Apple Watches too. It's all proprietary still.
Yeah.
I see you, wifey, trying to come in here looking all sexy. You better tell Tyrone I got his number.
Better call Tyrone.
Wife coming in here looking like a snack. She done been out all day looking like a snack. She better quit.
No radio
So,
about to jump
Edmund,
out.
on a scale
What?
of 1 to 10, what do you rate the iPhone 14 Pro Max 128 purple Barney edition?
Party edition?
Barney edition.
Barney edition.
Yeah.
No, Keon, I'm gonna need for you to give us a Flossie Carter rating.
Oh gosh. Man.
Is it a major go?
Oh, I can't give it that. No, can't give it that. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, you
But-
hard on it, huh? You hard
Hey,
on it.
I give it a 6 out of 10. But
I thought you were
no radio.
going to give it a 4.
No. But you have to understand, no radio. I live in the Google side of the world.
I understand.
And because I live like literally, from Waze to Maps to all the other stuff, because they don't synergize together on the iPhone, makes it almost a deal breaker. Like it don't like it's almost like, hey, yeah, it's up there because we want to act like we're open, but it's like hard and cumbersome to actually implement it.
You hard on it. You harder on it than me, and I thought I was the ultimate Apple hater.
Oh no. See, you could get away. You were being nice. I could tell
I'm
you were being
honest.
nice.
I'm being honest. I'll be honest about how I feel.
I could tell you were being nice.
I'll give it my rating. My honest Apple iPhone rating is an 8.5.
Oh, wow, that's high.
Because it has the ability to be perfect. It just ain't.
But see, here's the thing. I'm going off of the fact that I don't see them trying. I don't see them trying to want to even come close to appealing.
But I get what you're saying. But like I say, like I said, everybody knows I did 90 days, like a prison sentence. I did 90 days, and I did it exclusively.
See, I can't go exclusive.
And I found out that it's only missing about 2.5 things that I absolutely need. And it's easy for them to fix those things. They just won't, which is why I gave it an 8.5.
Let me see if I can pull this up, because I've been meaning to do this for Brandon so he can understand how serious this is for me. So hold on.
Believe me, I'm with you, Keon. I had some crazy windows running today that I was using, doing different things, and I was like, man, I could never do it on my iPhone. Like, damn it, I get it, I get that part.
So I'm going to open this up so you can see it.
It's like this, bro. If I had an iPhone, I would always have to have a side chick. It could never be my main. You know what I'm saying? What is you wearing, woman?
clothes?
Who was over there? Who was over there observing the thigh action and stuff?
What that?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Well, and that's the reason why I do carry
no
around
radio.
side. I do
Look,
have.
while no radio is over there.
Hey, man, I respect the
Gotta-
hustle.
most definitely.
Want some
So hold on. So give me a second. I want to show why I do what I did end up doing. So share screen share. Okay, so y'all, can you let me know if you can see what I'm doing right now?
Yep.
Like, this is how I drive around with my phone every day. This is how I do it. I literally drive around with my phone with the app on and looking at the different values as I'm driving around, so I can see what the T-Mobile network looks like, the Verizon network look like, so I can get a good idea about, so this area over here is a little wonky versus that over there. How far, how well is it being covered? Like, I literally go ham. I'll even open up another app and I'll have like the speed testing app open at the same time.
So I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I agree with you that that's a very nice thing to have. But on any other phone other than that Fold, even the S22 Ultra, having 3 apps open like that, or even 2 apps, is not it's not the same experience. It really isn't.
I understand.
So when you're talking about directly comparing the iPhone experience and the multitasking experience, you got to take into account a form factor equivalent of the iPhone, which in this case would be like the S22s.
Right. So I mean, at most doing this right here, let me get rid of that. It being able to do just this, having the service screen up and the Uber app up at the same time. That's 2 different apps. They're side by side, right? That matters a lot. I can't do this. Like, I have to switch back and forth between like, what was it? I got this app from Austin, and Austin, it was very detailed. It shows like the data coming in in seconds for megabits per second, and how much data I'm using, going download and upload at the same time. And it's a very useful app. But I can't have the service screen on iOS up at the same time I'm inside of another app. I can't pin them both at the same time. I can't do nothing. I have to switch between them. I gotta quickly switch. Let's say I run a speed test, then I gotta switch.
You see everybody doing a speed test, and then they switch service mode real fast so they can try to see what's going on. We don't have to do that. You don't have to.
I don't have to. And I mean, like I said, it's the multitasking for me that makes me like that's the reason why it's a 6 out of 10 versus an 8.
Is that you are pro multitasker because you have a Fold.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Look, understand something. I had a tablet. I had a Samsung tablet in my dash.
But this is
the fact that I wanted to
But I run 3 apps, Brandon, without the Fold on a regular.
Yeah, but this is a wide screen.
I get it, but even without the wide screen, I still run 3 apps.
What 3 apps are you using simultaneously?
So typically, I'm gonna keep speed test wide open. I'm gonna have Google Maps open, and if I'm say I'm just like gonna stop real quick and look up something, I can run my browser without having to close anything else. Or if I just want to keep open, if I want to keep open anything, like if I'm messaging my wife, I don't have to exit from what I'm doing to see all my apps. That's all I'm saying. It's just one of them things. Once you get used to doing it, it's really hard to stop doing it.
very. And
That's the thing.
I'm actually for me, that and Brandon, this is the reason why I said 6 out of 10, where No Radio gave it an 8. Me, all that stuff that I do that every single day, and now I literally can't do it. Even and understand, I would have that's my Fold 4 that I'm doing it on. I would have the Fold 3 in my charging cradle that's next to my shifter, which that's where I have the iPhone sitting at now, and I would have that phone with the same service screen up because I'm comparing networks. I'm looking at AT&T versus T-Mobile and how well does the RSRP in that one particular spot I'm at compare to each other. Are they both using band 2? Are they somewhere similar? Are they off the same tower? Is band 2 performance differently on T-Mobile versus iOS? I mean, I'm not iOS, but versus AT&T. These things I'm doing comparisons as I'm driving around. I can't do that now.
I want to add a caveat, right? I have been watching the networks since 2011. Just want to add that. I didn't join this community and start looking at networks. I've been watching the network since 2011. I used to ride around with that crappy app. What was that freaking app called that I don't use anymore? What is it? God, what is it called? Nobody uses that freaking app.
It's not Signal Check Pro.
No, it's not Signal Check Pro. I'm talking about before Signal Check Pro existed. I'm talking about old school, Keon, 2010, 2011.
Oh, God. What?
I used to ride around with No. Let me tell you what it's called. That's back when I was on AT&T and I was riding around looking at bands back then, back when AT&T damn near only had band 17. Before it was band 12.
Don't kiss me. Don't kiss me on the seat.
I've been doing that for going on a damn near over a decade. Now I'm supposed to stop?
I've been doing speed tests since 2000.
I'm saying speed tests. I'm saying literally watching network bands. Like I've been watching the bands and all that stuff for them a decade.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was until 2015.
There you go.
Well, I knew about the cellular bands, but the problem is there wasn't enough resources out there to find out how to look at them. And then
but there was apps for that back then. It just wasn't as good as what we have now, Keon. And I'm gonna tell you what it's called. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it's called. And you probably laugh when I name it because I guarantee you, every one of the nerds has used it before when there wasn't better stuff out there. I think it was called like kilobits or some crap.
Yeah.
What is that daggum app called? K-bits or it's still in the store. I just haven't used it forever.
But this kind of brings up the whole reason why I think that you're being a little bit too harsh on that phone is you have such a specific niche use case for that device that it does not appeal to you, and I would never expect it to.
There you go. So that's the thing. That's what we've been saying though. If you have a niche, iPhone won't let you have it.
But again, that backs up my point of saying that the iPhone is the best device at just being a phone.
But I don't want a phone. I want a computer.
But hold on, Ian. But what about giving you the possibilities? There's not going to be many people who are going to be like me. Right? I'm not saying that somebody should be how I am, but it doesn't even like the regular iOS user won't even have it be able to try to be, or let's say that they see something I do, they're gonna be like, well, my phone can't do that, so I guess I'm not gonna even try.
So I'll tell you the way to simplify this, Keon. This is what it comes down to, and this is what an old man said to me a long time ago. He said an iPhone is a tool, an Android is a fun toy device that lets you play. If you want to play, iPhone ain't the place. If you want to mess around, it's just not the place.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. If you need to play, what I'm saying is, though, Apple doesn't have to limit themselves to that. That's the other side of the argument, is that you can be a perfect tool, but still, like I said, give me that light switch to play. That's all I'm saying. Give me the switch. You can hide it in the back room somewhere, but give me the switch.
No,
hey,
Radio,
look, Let there be a switch that says like this is the pro mode.
God mode.
Like, look,
What I'm
look,
telling you is this,
you
bro.
know,
Look, Apple is so good, they would steal all the Android nerd users literally just by adding the
Still,
switch.
yo, I would literally leave.
Exactly. That's what we're
I would
telling you. They
leave.
will steal us
Give
all
me
away.
multitasking. I would leave.
Wait.
Like,
Do y'all think with the iPhone Ultra coming out next year, they will do multitask?
no,
I don't know.
I think they
No.
will, and the reason why is because they're probably wanted to give it that one unique name and be like, this is the only phone that you're able to do it. It's either you go big or you don't go at
no.
all.
Here's the thing. You wanna know why I say no? Because they feel comfortable. Look, year over year sales probably are increasing. They just got money out of me.
Not really.
So, whoa, I'm not gonna do what No Radio did and trade my phone in right away. I'm gonna get it paid
Right
off
away.
and then,
Bro,
hey,
I
you
did
gave
more
up
than
on it
you're
after
ever
90
going to
days.
do. I did more
Look.
than you're ever going to do, sir. I actually daily drove it, sir.
Hey,
With no
look,
other
I told you,
companion device.
I can't daily drive this. Okay, I told you that.
We
But
see.
at least I would have had somebody to FaceTime and experience it with. Now I gotta bother EM to experience this.
But that's what I've been saying the whole time is that I don't need to use the iPhone as a playground because I have other devices, and that's the reason why. The iPhone just does everything else better.
But okay, but here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. Besides messaging and FaceTime, what else does it do better?
I actually really enjoy iCloud. I think iCloud is a superior cloud storage system, and especially for mobile devices than Google One. I think
Really?
that yes, yes.
But guess what? If you're a true nerd, you have your own cloud. I got my own cloud.
And that's I was going to get to that is that I'm actually planning on setting up a NAS once I get my new router
There
to
you
avoid
go.
to avoid using
Ah.
Google One and iCloud. But from a ease of use standpoint for a device that I only use as a tool for communication, iCloud's very easy. The apps, even though they may not be as feature rich in certain departments, the apps all work very well, especially social media.
See, I don't
Hey,
do
you know
social
what
media.
I found to be that seemed to work very seamless was the Google One integration with the VPN. So the VPN service is integrated very well into my phone.
Into iOS.
Yeah, it picked it up
That's
without a whole lot of headache. Once I downloaded the Google One app and then I turned on the VPN feature, iOS saw it and was like, "Here's the toggle for it. Use it when you need to." So it seamlessly made that experience a whole lot better. So if I find myself at some questionable area or hotel Wi-Fi or something that I don't want my phone to be on the hotel Wi-Fi, I can just click on the VPN, still connect to the hotel Wi-Fi, and I know I'm going to be secure. So it made that experience a whole lot way better than I thought it would.
and that's good. But Apple has their own VPN built-in iCloud Private Relay. It's right built in the setting.
Yeah, but that's a very convoluted way of doing a VPN service.
Not really. Once you set it up, it's done.
I haven't set that up, so
But
like I said, I'm gonna rely on the community to help me with this because there's a lot of little tips and tricks that I don't have any clue about.
Y'all
So
over
what
there
does
hanging-
iPhone do better that Android doesn't do, Edmund?
What does iPhone do? I mean, here's the thing: I've only seen setbacks on my end, but that's where I was asking EM, like, hey, what is it that I'm missing? Like, there's something I'm missing.
you're missing, and we talked about this the other day. When you have components of the Apple ecosystem built in and integrated throughout your life, iPad, MacBook, Apple TV, Apple Watch, HomeKit accessories now that are going to get significantly better. The seamlessness of those other products is leaps and bounds still over any other OEM. Like if I text someone on my MacBook while I'm doing something, that message automatically integrates to my other devices. If I need to airdrop something between my other devices, it's super easy.
Windows does it as well for Android.
I know they do, but Apple does it just that much easier, and they've done it for such a long time. But at the end of the day, it's just preference, and
think about it like the console gamer versus the PC gamer. The Apple's like the console, Android's like the PC.
It is, and you'll never convince a PC gamer to go back to console, which is what
Evan's
trying to do.
No, you know what? Wait. Here's the thing. I am literally teeter-tottering between the two. When I went from console to Stadia, and now Stadia got shut down, I was like, I don't want to buy another PlayStation. I don't want to buy Xbox. So I started playing around with Steam, and now Game Pass through Microsoft, and it works just as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, why do I need to buy a console now? And I'm literally on the fence about it because I'm like, I don't want to go back to something proprietary anymore.
Plus, you get to get a lot of the exclusives from both sides versus being stuck in a console. There you go. Console is just like being on an iPhone. You get stuck in the ecosystem, whereas on PC, a lot of the Sony stuff still ends up on PC, and so does the Microsoft. And all of the Microsoft stuff ends up on PC.
And I mean, I went ahead and paid for the what is it? The Ultimate Game Pass.
Yep.
And I'm just literally sitting here going, what is the purpose of going back to a regular console? That's how I look at iOS. It's like going to a console.
And that's fine. That's fine. But there's a reason I have both. I play on my PC and I play on my console. Same thing.
So think about like this, right? If I'm on my PC, right, but I like the PlayStation controller better, I can use it. If I'm on PC and I like the Xbox controller better, I can use it. I don't have to get stuck. I can just, if I want to use a mix and match of freaking random headphones and crap, I can do it all on the PC. On console, certain features ain't gonna be supported without getting the supported Microsoft headset. And it's just crazy. And then, you want to expand storage? Oh, you got to buy the proprietary storage.
Well, and this ties back into the original conversation. If Apple allowed support for all of those they allowed support for their proprietary controllers or allowed third-party controllers, I would not have an iPhone. I would not have it.
Well, Apple does support the controllers.
Well, they have to because they're USB compliant.
I'm using the controller as an analogy here.
I'm sorry. I was saying literal, even wireless, and you can use PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. You can use all the controllers. So.
Yeah, props to them for allowing that because that's recent. But
and it works on Apple TV too, by the way.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, it does. Yep, you can hook your PlayStation controller directly to Apple TV wirelessly, easy, no problems.
Oh, shit. Good job. Good. Props to Apple for that. But at the end of the day, if I did not have to use an iPhone to get those proprietary accessories, as we'll call them, I wouldn't. I simply wouldn't. But you
are invested into the ecosystem even further. Like you've integrated yourself deeper into it. Where for me, I'm just looking. I'm like literally like the iPhone is me looking into the looking glass. But
and that's once you get that around you, it's better. It is better.
So my question is this. I've said this before. Why hasn't Apple rolled out a smart home equipment?
That's actually a pretty recent development with the whole. I don't know if you guys have heard about Matter.
Yeah, they're supporting Matter instead. They're supporting the open
Matter,
standard.
Because they realize that they can't make every single product segment. They can't get into every single product segment like with all these companies support, and HomeKit historically has been terrible.
Like, hey, what about this? How come their speakers are not selling as well?
Sure ain't.
That standalone speaker, like, it's supposed to be taking on Sonos, but It hasn't dethroned Sonos yet for iOS users.
I mean, I got a HomePod Mini sitting right next to me. It's
And-
better than
But,
the Google. It's
but the
better than
thing-
the Google.
Oh, I get that.
Hey,
But the benefit of the Google is you can mix and match brands
right.
No, I
and
agree.
make
I
them
agree.
all simultaneously play, regardless of the brand.
They screwed up by discontinuing the original HomePod, the big one. That thing is phenomenal in terms of
Yeah, I've heard
speaker
it was
quality.
really good. Yeah.
But
I'm just look. My gripe
I think
is
Apple should
this
have went for it,
is
to tell you the truth. They should have went for it. I
They
mean, just
should've.
look, bro. This is the company that had $700 wheels, okay?
that.
I'm just saying, like, bro, instead of R&D and $700 wheels, you could have R&D, some smart cameras. Because think about it. Look at what they're about to do with the Apple AirPlay, the new Apple AirPlay. It's not out yet. Look how far they're about to go with that. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. Wait,
They're-
what's going on?
They're about to go like crazy with the AirPlay in the cars, like to where it literally becomes the whole freaking operating system in the car. They're
Oh
going that far.
yeah. They wanna integrate all the way into the the info beyond the infotainment. They wanna see
Yes.
what the car does.
All I'm saying is, if they're so big on ecosystem, they dropped the biggest ball ever, which was the house.
That's true.
no, I agree. I mean, I've had to mix and match smart home equipment for that reason.
And to me, they should have done it. In my opinion, I think it'll sell. I think it really will sell if they actually just went for it. You got the Apple TV, you got the Apple speakers, you got the iPhones, the iPads, the Macs. All right, go ahead and drop a line of cameras, door sensors, smart light switches. Integrate, go all the way. If you're gonna play the whole ecosystem game, why say ecosystem and then jump outside the ecosystem immediately because you just don't want to R&D the products?
No, I agree with
or
you.
partner with some of these ones that's already doing it now.
No, they tried
That's what
that,
they're doing
though.
though. That's what
They tried partnering
Matter
with
is though.
Falcon and Netgear and all these other companies. They tried to have exclusivity partnerships with all these companies, but then those companies saw that their competition was having more success. Because the HomeKit stuff was always more expensive for the longest time. So Apple backtracked and they were like, serious people aren't using our platform to manage their smart home equipment. What do? Do we make our own products, or do we bend the knee and just support a universal standard?
Well, right now they bit the knee.
Hey,
did,
all we
and
need
that's a
is the
win
other
for
knee
us,
to drop. All we need is the other knee to drop for RCS.
I don't see. Look, I don't see it happening until there's legislation in the EU. The EU has been saving us right now. They're the only ones who's been. Look, I talk to people who come from from overseas, and I always say this. I said that I'm glad that the EU is more progressive than it is here in America, because they take on controversial stuff that we might scratch our heads about it, but understand, the reason why on the web, like all websites now have to ask you, do you want to be tracked more, is because of the EU, right?
Yeah.
You or Apple with USB-C. They were never going to do it. I just say it was peer pressure was not going to make them do USB-C. It took legislation to make them do it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, this year they might do it. This year they might become USB-C. It was always some year like, oh, this year's gonna do it. And then as soon as legislation passes, yeah, we're doing it. Like it wasn't gonna be a secret no more. Yeah, we're doing it.
They're too proud.
And look, if you're willing to get rid of the headphone jack, why won't you adopt RCS? I'm just saying. You said get rid of the headphone jack was courage. Then what is adopting RCS? Stupidity? No.
I mean, Apple does Apple. I've been saying that they needed to support RCS for the last like 5 years.
But his thing, your fellow counterparts see different things differently. I wish
they feel like
came
RCS is going to taint iMessage, and I'm like, it's
hey,
not.
look. Greg had a different opinion. He was like, oh, nobody want that thing.
Look, I said, number one thing is foul size, and possibly read receipts.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then obviously on the iPhone side, they complain about how the emojis look. Honestly, I don't give a damn about the emojis, so I'm good on that.
Yeah,
It's
sad
like-
Android emojis are ugly.
The
I'm gonna
emojis-
be
the
honest.
But like I
emojis-
said,
the
I don't
emojis
care
and
how they
gifs?
look because I don't expect them to be like I'm like, bro, I'm a grown ass man, bro. I don't send emojis. I'm 33 years
man,
old. I don't
the
send
emojis-
emojis.
But you send gifts though.
I send gifts because they're funny. But emojis, when I think emoji, I think 16-year-old girl. That's what I think when I think emoji. Like real shit.
I guess I'm
That's
a
what I think.
16-year-old girl.
I'm just saying, I don't send emojis, man. I'm too grown for that.
No,
I might as well
feel you.
I might as well go hang with Mitchell if I want to send emojis
Oh.
all day.
Oh,
Can't even get my words out. I got an emoji to deaf people. Look,
No,
let me
I-
text my dad. Let me text my dad, my grown dad, right now, and put an emoji in there.
oh
He gonna
no,
call
you
me.
gonna be like,
He be like, boy, don't you send me
what
that
is this,
soft
boy?
shit. And like I said, I get it if you're like young and you're dating some little hot chick and you're emojiing each other. I'm married. Me and my wife don't emoji each other. Yeah,
Oh,
just don't do emojis in the first place. I'm all business most of the time, bro. I don't sit for hours and text people.
hey, he's all business in the front and in the back is party time.
I'm just saying, like the last time I really sat around and text people is when I was young and dating.
Hey man,
Like really,
look.
you know what I use text for? I send pictures via text. That's about the only thing I do via text. I might tell my wife, "Y'all gonna be home a little late," or if I see something cool, I'll send her a picture. But emojis, yeah, I'll send her I'll send my wife a eggplant every now and then. You know what I'm saying? But I doubt that she's gonna not get the eggplant message because it doesn't look a certain way.
Well, understand if your wife was on iOS, the only thing she's gonna get is there was a emoji sent. That's all. Look, he's not gonna know if it was eggplant or sausage or whatever other identifier you want to add behind it. It's just gonna say emoji sent.
To be honest, I'm really surprised that emoji is still a thing.
Oh, come on, man. Look, people use it substitutes for words now.
Yeah.
Like I only
Everything's
use
about
them-
substituting
That's
words.
my point, though. I know how to use my words. I'm a linguistic, Magellan. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
You know, I can articulate. I don't need a yellow face to articulate my deep thoughts.
Look,
Well, I've transitioned away from texting mostly. Like I was looking at my usage from last month. I used like almost 3,000 minutes, over 3,000 minutes last month talking on the phone.
Uh-huh.
But
Because you've been what? You've been handling business.
business, yeah.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. You've been handling business. Send your boss some emojis about the work you're doing and see what happens.
oh, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, if you really
Fiber
want me
emoji.
to, I will.
Fiber emoji, cut emoji, cut emoji.
Alarm emoji.
The two hands praying emoji.
Low light emoji.
Light bulb on, light bulb off, light bulb on.
I'm just saying, like, emoji will never be the breaking point for me.
No, it's just like
Wow.
those little things that I used to care about and now I don't. Like I
Well,
definitely used to care about it. Now I don't really care.
I mean, look, understand we everything has ebbs and flows. Like whatever was old is whatever was new turns old, and whatever is old turns new again. Like different things. Like I find myself using the smiley face emoji whenever I'm making fun of something. Right, I'll do that. Like depending on like what I'm trying to whatever point I'm trying to get across.
Yo,
But that's
babe,
about
what's
all
the
I
last
do.
time I sent you an emoji?
You have.
Hey.
Mommy, whenever the clothes
Caesar says, I don't think emojis have anything to do with how old you are. You can't send one. Yes, the younger gen use them more,
Oh, I ain't
but
saying that.
they're
I ain't
extremely
saying
popular.
that. That's why I said it ain't a breaking point for me.
Look, old man.
Now, guess what though? If I was a young whippersnapper again and I was chasing the hoes, I'd probably be emojiing. But I'm a married man. I ain't got time for emojis. And that's what I said though. Where you are in life changes how you behave and handle things.
That's true. Now, here's the question: how long are we going to keep this segregation going? Android versus iOS, because
Apparently,
it's going to get childish after a while.
Well, apparently, these women out here, their dating choices are who has an iPhone, and guess what? That's a bad way to choose a mate.
That is true.
They've done studies and said that if they find out that the person they're pursuing does not have an iPhone, it decreases their chances of maintaining that relationship.
Guess what? Day and Pookie that work at McDonald's getting all the hoes with their stolen iPhones, but the engineer that works at the big firm, he loses hoes because he ain't got the right emojis.
That's true.
Shame.
That's true. I mean, at
So
the end of the day, it's all about
having all these Pookie and Ray babies because of iPhones.
Hey, you know what? I think that's going to end up changing, because I think it comes down to the charging port. Having multiple different charging ports, all of a sudden now you got one that fits them all.
Oh, here you go.
Hey, I'm just saying, man.
Hey, I'm just saying though, it's hard to find an iPhone user that ain't plugged into a charger. Which is insane to me. It's because they have better battery life.
I always hear iOS users complaining about their battery life, man.
But what it is that their battery does last longer, but the phone charges so slower. Like, it's gotten better now, but I'm saying historically, it charges so slow that when you finally do deplete it, you hit up stuck to a charger cable. That's what's like, bro. I can't count how many times I've walked in the store and the girl behind the counter's got her iPhone plugged in with like 2%.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yo,
So
I was in line for Checkers, and a dude was plugged into the drive-thru wall out.
So I think it's like iPhone users, they will ride that battery down to 1%. Like, they will just do it, bro. And like most like Android users is like, I'm down to 15. Let me go ahead and plug it in. It's a different train of thought. It's a different way of thinking about the device. Like they said, they want the device to get out of their way, and by out of their way, they mean they don't pay attention to it. They just use it and go, oh my God, I forgot to charge it. It's literally out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. They don't even think about it. And that's why they end up with low batteries all the time. Where I'm conscious. I know where my battery is at all times. I know where it's at.
Caesar, are you saying that the women day-to-day are broke? No, don't say that.
He said the women that who date is broke?
He said the women, let's see, how do you say it? They are getting many women, and typically the women day-to-day are broke. Not a high-class woman with a great job. Don't say that the women are broke, sir. Don't say they broke.
My woman's rocking a newer phone than I am.
Oh no.
Because I don't want the 14. I don't want it.
I will make no comments about the brokenness of the women's. Let's just say I'm a breadwinner and my wife ain't broke and I'm still out here breadwinning. That's some sad shit. Hey, when your wife makes almost as much money as you and you still end up paying all this stuff, fun times.
Same, bro. Been there.
Man,
that's the thing. She makes more than me, and I'm still paying.
Oh nah. I probably make exactly double, but like she don't have no bills, so she could never be broke.
We do a 50-50. We make about the same with all my overtime.
We don't do that around here. I wish.
Hey man, we're living that. We're gonna live the dink life, dual income, no kids. That's the plan.
Hey, you a smarter man than me.
Yeah, buddy.
Just make sure you know how to unplug that lightning cable on time.
Oh, don't do it, no radio. I know where you're going. Don't you do it.
I said what I said. I don't gotta say no more. As long as you know how to unplug that lightning cable on time, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
I know where you're going, though, radio. Don't do it.
Hold up. Well, we're gonna segue. You know what's funny though is that when I met her, she had an Android phone. She had a Galaxy S8.
You converted her.
You converted her.
I didn't convert her. I didn't convert her, but at
Who converted her?
her friends, all of her friends had iPhones, and she hated iPhones. She didn't like them, and then her friends peer pressured her into getting an iPhone, and then ever since she's had iPhone.
Man.
Hey.
And now
Social-
she's the one peer pressuring me to keep the iPhone, bro.
social engineering, man.
There you go.
Apple has won the social engineering side.
I did the opposite. When I got my wife, she had an iPhone, and I bought her to the Android world. No, I'll take it back. I bought her. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all some crazy. I took her to the Microsoft Windows Phone world first.
Oh no, you did her dirty.
Oh,
hey, it was good back then, though. This was the good days. We're talking about the good days, bro. Between the Lumia 900 and the Lumia 1520, those days were the good Windows days where it still had a chance.
yeah.
When the app support never came, but it ran better than Android. Definitely ran better than Android if you actually used it in those days. Android was good now, but back then, Windows Phone was killing Android on loading apps, things like that. It just didn't have the app support. I took her to Windows Phone first. I bought her a 10. I think it was a 1040. It was the yellow phone with the 40 megapixel camera on it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That thing. Woo.
She loved that freaking phone too. We rode the Windows train for a while, and then we jumped back to Android.
Yo, why did it take so long for smartphones to finally go back to the 40 megapixel sensor? Like the Lumia was what, like 5 years ago?
No longer.
Oh.
Longer, sir. The Lumia I think it was the 1040, the 940. No, it was the 1020, I think it was. That was like 2013, Keon.
Oh God.
I've been with my wife a long time.
It's like, but it's like, oh man, the Lumia, like, you know, I was like, oh man, there's a 40 megapixel sensor on this, and then like, you know, you turn to look at the iPhone, and at that time, the iPhone was like 4 megapixel,
if that.
4. The big upgrade was 8. I was like, good God.
What I remember is I tried a Windows Phone as an experiment. I had an Android device. I had an HTC. I bought a Lumia 900 off of eBay. And when I got it in the mail, I literally remember powering it on, and it launched in like 4 seconds. It was already on. I said, what the hell? Because Android wasn't even close to that at that time. Wasn't even close. Like, this damn thing boots up fast as hell. And then they were doing a whole lot of PC ports. They were porting PC games to the Windows Phone. I'm over here playing freaking San Andreas and everything on that phone. That wasn't even on Android or iPhone yet at that time. It was running like really advanced software and stuff, but they just didn't get software support. All the major app makers like YouTube and Facebook, they didn't make the app available, and that's what screwed that phone over. That's
Developers are lazy.
Developers
I'm sorry.
didn't make the software for it, so it died. Windows Phone died again on their third attempt.
You know what? I saw an article. They were talking about, do you think it's time to have a third operating system in the phone space? Yeah. I'm like, it will never last.
Developers ain't gonna do it. The developers won't do it. That's the problem.
I think people would gravitate towards it and try it, but the problem is, you know, the major apps that people use, their adoption rate is too slow.
And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with the big two for a while, buddy.
I think we're stuck with them, period, now.
And guess what? Have you heard any more talk about Google Fuchsia? You ain't heard no more talk, have you?
No, I have not.
Got real quiet, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Man. But, hey, we are 2 hours and 18 minutes in. I think that we probably have beat this dead horse into the ground. I started as soon as I got my phone, so I wanted to have an open discussion about it and see, you know, where I can improve at. I want to improve. I want to see things a little bit differently.
Keon, just do 3 days a week.
No, sir. I showed EM and Brandon that how I use my phone, man. This is how I use it, and you're telling me I have to stop using it that way.
That's the only way you're gonna be able to really live the life.
You got to commit to it like fully.
That's like Keon. That's like going back into slavery just to experience it, but you get to go home on the weekend. It
Oh,
don't count.
Oh,
Damn,
God,
dude.
the radio.
It don't count.
Wow. Yo, the radio. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say that I don't really need to experience that per se to understand it. I can get a good idea. There was enough photos and sketches that showed me how rough it was. Okay.
That's like these new people going to jail, man. They soft. They let you go to the jail just for the weekend now. You heard about this?
Yeah. Oh. But you know what? Jail in America is different than jail in Europe, dog.
I'm just saying though, they'll sentence you to a year in jail, but you only got to go on the weekend. What kind of prison sentence is that?
That's not a prison sentence. You just doing that's an extracurricular activity.
You just doing time out on the weekend. You know, Bro, I know somebody that was doing that. They only went to jail on Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
So basically what we've done is basically did time out for grown people.
That's what they're doing, bro. They gave this dude like 100 days, and he only got to go for a weekend. So he leave his regular job at 3 o'clock on Friday. He show up at the jail at 5 o'clock, and they let him back out the jail on Monday morning.
You got
his regular job.
You got sentenced to time out.
That's what you doing with that iPhone. You dipping in and dipping out.
Hey, wait. I use it day to day right now. I have it on my table right now.
I ban? Okay, so we got to come to some kind of agreement. Let me ban certain apps from use on Android. How about that?
You're gonna ban certain apps?
Yeah. Meaning that, for instance, if you want to watch YouTube, you have to use the iPhone. If you want to do any social media, you have to use the iPhone. If you want to web browse, you have to use the iPhone.
I would say go as far as like using Uber app on the iPhone,
because he literally keeps his GPS and the Uber app open and all the time.
Yeah,
I get why.
Look, what I showed you earlier, that's my everyday setup.
Yeah,
that's my everyday setup.
He's gonna have to keep grabbing that phone to switch back and forth between the freaking apps.
Yeah,
he don't have to do that now. You're trying to make it worse for him, sir.
All right, fine.
You're gonna make him hate the iPhone even more.
Okay, so I will.
All entertainment use needs to be on the iPhone, basically.
Damn.
All bill pay. You got to pay a bill online. Use the iPhone.
God.
Yeah, that'll give you your real usage, man. You just get to use an Android for maps and Uber. That's it.
How long? Okay, how long do I need to do this for?
30 days.
30 days.
That's me going light. I did 90, sir.
Yeah, that's light.
Yo, I mean, but you went all in. Like you like what is it? Your phone. You didn't have another Android phone on you. You were doing
I just didn't use it. I literally just didn't use it.
Oh,
which is why every time we were in a Google Meet, I was on the iPhone.
Now here's the thing. All the Google Meets that I've been in for the last 3 days, have all been on the iPhone.
Yep, I know.
So I've been doing that. Okay, I haven't used my Android phone for none of the Google Meets that I participated in for the last couple days. So I'm doing that. Web browsing though, Safari sucks. I've only done a couple of things on Safari, and even on Chrome, it's cumbersome
because it's still using the Safari API, so it'll do weird shit.
So it's cumbersome too.
I don't know. I think 30 days is reasonable to get your final opinion.
Well, Ken gonna be over there scratching his neck like a crackhead staring at Android. He gonna be looking like Pookie on damn New Jack City.
You got any Android for me?
You remember when Pookie was up in the Carter building when he was packaging the crack? He was sweating. He was sitting there staring at the crack rock, shaking. That's gonna be you looking at your Android.
Man,
I think we about time to wrap it up. We're almost
midnight. Yeah. Hey, everybody, thank y'all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. EM Tech, thank you for your insight and input. I'm gonna be able to test more things with you in the next couple days, hopefully, as you get more time. So because you're probably gonna be the only iOS user that I can actually experience FaceTime and iMessage with.
We'll even
since
go as
you're
far. I'll put T-Mobile on my iPhone, and we'll go the distance, bro. We'll go the distance.
We're gonna go all the way, man, all the way.
That's what she said.
But yeah, so now the only problem is I haven't seen like RF wise. I mean, there's not that much difference except for the deployment difference. The iPhone prefers 66 and 66, 41 and 2, where my Android phone prefers band 2, band 4, 71 and 66. So it'll start switching between those before it'll go just hard on 66. So that's something I noticed differently also. But
We'll find out.
we're gonna find out. No Radio, where can we find you at? Besides roasting people on the interwebs?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I appreciate EM Tech for joining us this evening, brother. Your opinion and your knowledge is always welcome. And Keon, thank you for having us both in here today. And you can find me somewhere hating on your grandma.
Oh God!
Oh snap!
Why did it gotta be the granny though? Why it gotta be granny?
I got to take a teeth out. But anyway,
what about you, Ian? Are you public or private?
Well, you can always find me on Twitter. Offering my anecdotal speed testing results and all of my awesome commentary, which usually ends up somewhere on someone's feed.
Hey, there you go.
I don't dabble in the YouTube, but you can always find me on Twitter, making fun of S-Band.
Hey. the jam. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm doing my YouTube thing. It's been a slow tech week, so I haven't released any videos of late. And then on top of that, I'm going back home in for Christmas. So I'm saving up some videos to do as I'm going home and when I get to North Carolina. So I'm gonna release some videos doing that. I might use my iPhone to record my videos. I've been thinking about that right now. I might do that, but
that sounds like a leisure to me, sir. So yes, iPhone is required.
So I can't. Apparently, I gotta record my YouTube videos, my speed testing videos on my iPhone,
and then you gotta transfer that file.
Oh no, it's uploaded directly from the phone. I'm not transferring it to the laptop.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kia.
But I want to say thank y'all to everybody, and you can find me on Twitter. Follow my shenanigans, and if you like for seeing some professional trolling about cellular networks, Keon 81 on Twitter, and the channel is Community Tech Channel. So thank y'all for watching. Greatly appreciate y'all being here, and we out.